Hi, I am going to take the time right now to teach you how to create a simple form using Google Drive. And it's really easy. I'm going to just show you the really basic one here. And I'm going to assume that you already have a Gmail account. If you don't, back out of this and create your own Gmail account so you can do this. And that you can get to drive.google.com. I'm using the Chrome browser in this case. And I would suggest you do the same because it works really well with Google. So let's get started here. I'm already signed into my own account, and I'm going to go over here underneath where it says Drive, and I'm going to click New. Come on down here and click on Google Forms, and it creates my form for me. So you can create this form to do a whole bunch of things. I'm just going to do a really basic one and start off by naming it. And I'm a science teacher, so I'm going to make an earth science quiz, and I might do more than one, so please be descriptive in this so it's easy for you to find your information later on. I'm going to call it Earth Science Quiz number 1. I want to give it a name as a file name up here. Right now it's still just untitled form, so I will click there, and it's automatically going to take what I put here and put it as your file name. You can change that if you want to. It's up to you, but I usually found that it's best to keep them the same. You can type in a form description right here, which could be instructions to the students. You could tell them to read each item carefully and choose the best answer. Oh, type. There we go. Whatever instructions that you would normally give to your students. Down here, where it says Untitled Question, this is where we can put in our first question. So when I clicked on that, you'll notice that it says over here, Multiple Choice. Well, normally I put this as the place for the students to put their name, and they're going to have to type that in. So I'm going to change that to just a short answer question, and just put name. And I always give the instruction later on to add a little bit extra to put their last name first and their first name last, and that just makes it easier to sort later on. I'll talk about sorting in another video. But I always tell them to have their last name first and their first name last, and I click over here to make it a required question. All right, so we got that. Now I'm going to hit plus, and the next thing I'm going to put in here is my period number. I have 6 classes that I teach, and so I'm going to make this a drop-down menu, and I'm going to call this one period. And the way we have ours are we have 1, 2A, because I teach an A day, B day thing, and so here's my 1, 2B. I do this for all of my classes. Make this a required question because, once again, for sorting purposes later, you're going to need that. Okay, I am ready to go to my next thing, and what I want to do is I want to collect the student's email address. We are a Google Apps for Education school, so all of our students have an email address. And so I just click the plus button to create a new thing, and I'm going to call this one email address. And change this over to a short answer question, make that required, and then we are good to go. Now, I have found that sometimes it's necessary to put a little bit of helper information, especially like with email addresses. I've got 6th graders, and they have a hard time sometimes remembering the format of their email address. I want to give them a little helper text. So if you come down here to these 3 little dots and add description, And then you can put the format of the email address. And the way ours is set up, it's last name dot first name at CCPS student. Once again, typing incorrectly. .org. Now I'm ready to add my first question. And it's very simple. You just click plus right here and gives you the place to put your question. You can choose and make it a multiple choice. You can make it all kinds of questions. You can make it a very short answer. You could make it a paragraph. Just choose the kind that you want to do. I'm just going to do a multiple choice now. And you type the question right in here, whatever your question happens to be. And then down here you have options, and you put choice 1 here, choice 2, choice 3, however many choices you want to do. You can keep going and keep going, and add as many as you want. I usually just do 4. That's pretty standard. And once you're done that, of course, make it a required question. Otherwise, they could just skip it, unless you want that to be an option. If you want them to be able to skip a question, that's fine. But what that'll do is, if they try to submit the form at the end, if you hit required and they didn't answer it, it's going to not let them submit it. Then you can go through and start adding as many questions as you want. So just hit the plus button, and you could make this one a short answer, and add your next question, and just leave it like that. Put the required there. You might even want to add a little bit of helper text here. Once again, you can click on those 3 dots over there, click description, and then you could add a little bit of a description to it. If you have a problem, if you've added a question that you don't really like, you can hit the delete button. It's a little trash can here. Let's say I want to use exactly the same answer choices as I did on this multiple choice question. I have a button right here that's called duplicate. So that will duplicate that question. And now I can actually add a different question with the same answer choices right here. When you duplicate it, it also duplicates the settings, so it might add, it's going to make it required. If you don't want it to be required, you can turn that on and off. Make sure, of course, that you change the question in here. So now I've added several questions. This is really simple. I have 2 multiple choice questions, and I have a short answer. And you want to see what it looks like. So we come up here, and if you look for that little preview eyeball right up here, you click that, and this is what your quiz looks like. Here's the place to put a name, and this is actually the live quiz. So if you start filling this in and click submit at the end, it's going to keep your information for you. So here it is. You put your name, and and make sure you use the correct format. And then choose your period. Here's that drop-down menu that we created. You put your email address in here. You answer your questions, and then you answer your short answer question down here. And then you click submit. Now, you were noticing I did not put the email address. So I tried to submit it, and it would not let me do it because I made that a required question. So there it is. That's a very simple form, really, really basic. In future videos, I will show you how to take this form, put it other places, so people can get access to it, so they can take the quizzes. And I'll also show you some more advanced options, and then also how to analyze the data that you get from these quizzes. There's a lot of great things in store for you, so keep watching.